Not me care about you and your problems. It's like work, I just had a wonderful job and without a moment's notice, lose that job, right? And that's with God. He gives and he takes away without notice. Without notice. And you got to be ready for when that comes. See, Jesus Christ is coming. Who in this world is going to stand in the presence of God? Who? Cannot. What man will stand when God Almighty is in your presence? Who? Life is filled with tragedy and mistakes. And even when you put forth your best effort and you try your very best, there's sometimes nothing you can do with that. What do you do with that? God gave to the people exactly what they wanted. Yet when they received what they wanted, a lot of pain and suffering came along with that. But then God chose David to be the second king of Israel. A man who had one goal in mind, and that was God's heart. That was God. And not just God, but for God to be a reality in the lives of all the people of Israel. And David was not without sin. He wasn't perfect. He was a human, a man just like the rest of us. Yet everything he undertook, tried to do for God, had an adversary. Saul. Saul was his greatest adversary. The greatest adversary for the people of Israel was Saul. Their unbelief was their greatest adversary. I've in all my life, do you know what it's like to put forth your best effort, to put forth your best foot into a relationship and then have that relationship fail? Everybody wants to talk about, wives, surrender to your husband, right? All the male pastors love that. But they never tell the men, surrender to your wife. See, marriage won't work unless you have two like-minded people, two people with the same spirit and the same ambition. You're taking two people and joining them together to be one. And you must love that one person. It's not about man being head of the household or wife being head or whatever of anything. It's about two people becoming one person. And what happens when that fails? What happens when everything you do or undertake fails? Does that mean God has abandoned you? That's what the American church wants you to believe, that God has abandoned you because of the works you do. God has not abandoned us. Because of your unbelief, the works you do are unsatisfying, unfulfilling. When we're trying to seek validation from people, we're always going to be let down. Even if that validation comes from work. The king didn't come to validate the people's wishes. God validated their wishes. By giving them a king, they later grew to hate. I want to read to you Psalm 34. It's a great psalm. Why am I making this video? Well, mostly for myself, because I need this message. I need to know that God is with me, and that I shouldn't be dismayed when my world, When your world is completely shaken and you're thrown off your feet and the sun no longer shines, where are you going to find hope? In the stars? In the moon? Don't be dismayed. Because, see, this is what Jesus is trying to prepare the people. Hey, they're going to slap you on the face. Are you ready? They're going to persecute you. Are you ready? Hey, this world and in this life is going to be one disaster after another. Are you ready? Are you ready? You know, one of the greatest stories in the Bible, and my favorite story, especially when I'm feeling down and left behind and unappreciated, I go right there to Peter. And I listen to Peter's story. Jesus tells him and the disciples, hey, cross over to the other side. It's simple. Simple command, simple instructions. Get in this boat, swim away, and go to the other side of the Sea of Galilee, and I'll meet you over there. Right? About 3-4 hours into their journey, a great storm comes. And there they cannot make no headway. They're working and they're rowing and they're working. And that boat ain't going anywhere. Fighting against the wind. Fighting against nature. Fighting against God. And yet, there in the midst of this storm, there's Jesus standing in the middle of the water. On the water. And all the people, when they saw them who were in the boat, thought they saw a ghost. They were terrified. They were terrified. Sometimes in life, when everything seems to be going wrong, terror, fear, worry, anxiety, stress grows within us. Especially when you lose your job, when you have no money to pay your bills, when the world is rejecting you, when you've been involved in broken relationships. And you see him. And Peter boldly and bravely asks and yells out, who are you? If you are the Lord, tell me to come and I will come. Tell me what to do, and I will do it. Samuel says, Lord God, that they have rejected me. They haven't rejected you, they rejected me. Jesus says the same. When the world, your friends, and everything that seems to be right and good begins to reject you, just know it rejected me first. So they're out on the boat there. And what did Samuel do? And the Lord said, do what they ask. Give to them exactly what they want. And Samuel did. Peter says, Lord, tell me to come. Tell me what to do, and I'll do it. Even if it seems as though my very life is at risk. And this is the worst option I could ever think of. Stepping out of a boat into the middle of the ocean. And they go out. And he steps out of the boat. And for a few steps walks just right at Jesus. And at that moment, for the first time, he begins to see and wonder, what am I doing? Where have I put my faith? Where have I put my life? What am I doing here today? And he looks around and notices that there's wind and waves and there's a storm and everything in this world and everything that he has no control over is crashing in on him. And he sinks. He sinks. And before he drowns, he just screams out one short prayer, help me, Lord. If you are God, tell me to come, even if it cost me my life, I will do it. And then when he did it, he found himself in deep trouble, in deep water. To the point he had nothing left to say. He didn't have any questions. He didn't have any answers. He had only one thing to say: help me, Lord. And immediately Jesus draws Peter out of the water and rises him up and says one thing: why did you take your eyes off me, O you of little faith? Why did you take your eyes off me? In this world, are we seeking to find the good life, or are we seeking Jesus Christ? Are we seeking the career, the social status, the validation, or are we seeking Jesus Christ? So I want to read to you Psalm 34. I will bless the Lord at all times. His praise shall continually be in my mouth. My soul makes its boast in the Lord. Let the humble hear and be glad. Let the selfless, the humble hear and be glad. Those who are going through life and it seems like there's every obstacle in life and nothing has worked out. You've done everything wrong or right and you've done it to the best of your ability, yet still failed. Still failed. Yet in the midst of that, you tried to be kind. You tried to follow the command of God. What shall I do? Lord, tell me to come and I will come. And now let the humble be glad. Oh, magnify the Lord with me, and let's exalt his name together. I sought the Lord, and he answered me, and delivered me from all my fears. How many of us are in a place of want? How many of us want a new car? How many of us want a new home? How many of us want a better job? How many of us want a better companion, a better spouse? Better kids, a better life? Yet for me, there's only one thing I want in life, and I want to hear the heartbeat of heaven. And I want to hear the heartbeat of heaven pounding against my body so I can feel it. I don't want to have faith in an imaginary God. I want to have faith in our Father, who is our God, our Dad. I want to hear my dad's heartbeat against my ear as I hug into him. I want to hear the heartbeat that drives the heavenly beings. I want to hear the heartbeat of heaven. And Jesus says, if you want to hear it, come. Even if you're sitting in a place where you're of sound mind, in a boat, in the midst of an ocean. And when I say come, come no matter what. It costs you. And we're not talking monetarily costs. We're whatever it's everything. It's going to cost you everything to follow the Lord. And he says, come. You want to hear the heartbeat of heaven? Come. Well, I want to hear God's heartbeat, but not until after I grab my picnic basket and I find the good life. Rescue me from all my fears. Those who look to him are radiant, and their faces shall never be ashamed. The poor man cried, and the Lord heard him, and saved him out of all his troubles. The angel of the Lord encamps around those who fear him and delivers them. Oh, taste and see that the Lord is good. Blessed is the man who takes refuge in him. What about like Peter? Didn't take refuge in the boat, but was willing to climb out of the boat in the midst of the ocean to take refuge in the Lord. Oh, fear the Lord, you his saints. For those who fear him have no lack. They have no want. You know, there should be only one fear on earth, that I will never hear the heartbeat of heaven. The young lions suffer want and hunger, but those who seek the Lord lack no good thing. Come, O children, listen to me. I will teach you the fear of the Lord. What man is there who desires life and loves many days, that he may see good? Keep your tongue from evil. This is the fear of the Lord. Keep your tongue from evil and your lips from speaking lies. Why would that bring fear in my life? Because my mouth speaks evil. And when I'm backed into a corner, right, we like to lie our way out of it. We don't want to be responsible for our own actions. God says don't do that. That will teach you fear of the Lord. Because there's nothing harder to control over than our mouth, our tongue. The eyes of the Lord are toward the righteous, and his ears toward their city. Now what is the righteous? The eyes and the ears are sitting there towards Jesus. Jesus is righteous. We are not righteous. My own righteousness will not save me, but the righteousness of Jesus Christ will. He goes on to say, the face of the Lord is against those who do evil, to cut off the memory of them from the earth. The righteous cry for help. The Lord hears them and delivers them out of all their troubles. The Lord is near to the brokenhearted. To the brokenhearted. And saves the crushed in spirit. He's near to the brokenhearted. He's near to those who are crushed in spirit. And he saves them. God may create the disaster, may create the storm, may create the winds and the waves. But that's not to hurt you, to harm you, or destroy you. But it is to turn you away from sin. What is sin? Not believing God. That's sin. Many are the afflictions of the righteous. Many are the afflictions of the righteous. How many years did Saul chase after David? But the Lord delivers him out of them all. How many afflictions did Jesus endure? He keeps all his bones. Not one of them is broken. Speaking of the Lord, we all look to he who was pierced, yet had no broken bones. They broke the bones of the thief on the left and the thief on the right. Affliction will slay the wicked, and those who hate the righteous will be condemned. Christ was the righteous. The Lord redeems the life of his servants. None of those who take refuge in him will be condemned, will be put to shame. You know, that's the thing in this world. What's going to overcome this world and the problems of this world? Nothing. Nothing. Nothing you can do can overcome the problems of this world. Nothing. Nothing's going to deliver you out of your sorrows and your sufferings. There's only one thing. Faith in he who overcame the world. Jesus Christ. You know, that's the thing. Was Jesus' faith in the community? Was his faith in the validation of those people? Because he wasn't validated. He wasn't accepted. He was rejected, beat down, broken, and crucified. See, no matter how hard you try, no matter how hard you try to run or hide from God, your sin will be found out because Jesus Christ died for our sins. That's mind-blowing. My sins will be found out because Jesus died for my sins. All have sinned. What is our faith in? That's the thing. I don't have money. I don't have a home. I don't own anything. I have nothing. But what I give you is worth everything to me. It's like God. It's worth everything to me. I give you my one and only Son. I give you faith in Jesus Christ. And that's all you need. See you next time.